Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is True Underdog, and apparently a lot of changes are happening to Street Fighter V in Season 2, so let's go ahead and talk about those. Now first off, we have a very big change, if not the biggest change for some people. And that change is that reversals are no longer invincible unless you have meter to spend. So in other words, no more mashing Shoryuken to escape a block string. No more mashing any reversal to escape a mix-up or a setup. You have to either block that shit, or if it's a command grab, you have to jump and get away from it, right? Because unless you have the meter, you can no longer escape those situations with a special move. You now need meter. So unless you have that bar, you have to be way better at defense now. Now there is some good news though. The good news is these moves are still upper body invincible. So while they can't beat crush counters and other moves like that who hit your full body, they can still work as solid anti-airs. So if your opponent jumps in, feel free to do a Shoryuken or a Dragon Punch or any other number of moves that would normally be a reversal because they're still upper body invincible. So it's a lot like Nash. For those of you that don't know, Nash has an EX Sonic Scythe, which is great as an anti-air but does not work as a wake-up. That's what we're dealing with right now. Another good example is Guile's Flash Kick. Guile's Flash Kick is no longer fully invincible. You can crush counter it, but only if you do a meaty setup, otherwise it will win, because after frame 3 is when it becomes fully invincible. For those first 3 frames, it's not. You can hit it, which causes crush counters, right? And that's going to happen to all of these invincible moves. On the 3rd frame, they become invincible, but from frames 1 to 3, they can get beaten out. You can hit them during it. So from now on, if you want to play aggressive, what you do, even against characters like Ryu and Ken, is you knock them down, and then when they get up, you do a meaty attack, which means they wake up into your move that's already happening. Okay, so don't try and time it. Don't try and do it on frame 2 or frame 1, or try to get it in just before frame 3. Do it as they're getting up so they have to wake up into it. That way you get the crush counter every time. Now a lot of people have been saying on different channels that this new change in particular will hit the scrubs the hardest. Now I don't use that kind of offensive language most of the time, but if you are a bit more green to Street Fighter, then you're going to have a difficult time now probably, because you can't escape these setups or these mix-ups anymore. Now this may upset a lot of people because characters like Armika, who people already hate a lot even though she has a ton of weaknesses, people hate her because her pressure is insane and she has a pretty decent mix-up game. Even though she has no overhead, it all comes down to the crush counter or the command grab. And you can punish the command grab and you can block the crush counter, but you can no longer mash out of it with DP. That's not going to be a thing anymore. So in that regard, grapplers may get a lot stronger, or at least they would if not for this next change. So at number 2, we have throws that are getting universally nerfed somehow. Now I'm not entirely certain on the specifics, but what I do know is that it affects both regular grabs and command grabs evenly. So both command grabs and regular throws are getting this nerf. Now a lot of people have theorized that it's going to be a simple pushback, right? If I throw you, you're now going to be pushed further away, so I can't just pressure you on wake up anymore. Which is good because otherwise every throw would lead into a free setup and the game would become Throw Fighter 5. It would all be about landing that throw and then getting that Oki pressure, right? It would all turn into that. Especially since an invincible wake up is no longer an option unless you have the meter to spend. So without this new nerf, you would get thrown, which would knock you down, and then you'd have to deal with whatever your opponent does on wake up. You'd have no way of escaping it. So the main goal of every player would be to land that throw. And we don't want that because Street Fighter 4 was already kind of that beast. It was all about scoring that knockdown. But luckily there's like quick rise now and you can roll backwards and other stuff, so it fixed that problem to a very large extent. But again, people are theorizing that maybe the only nerf is that people are getting pushed further away. Now the issue with that nerf is that in the corner it won't mean anything. It'll amount to nothing, unless it somehow pushes the person who threw you back also, which some games do that. If you're in the corner and I do a move that would normally push you back, the game just pushes me away. Some moves still do that in Street Fighter V, and it's kind of weird, but it still happens from time to time. It's a rare circumstance, but it does still happen. Another theory is that the opponent will actually be able to quick rise much faster after a throw. So you won't have time to dash up or walk up to them and do wake up pressure. You won't be able to do that. No Oki for you, they're going to get up faster. Now it could be one or the other, or it could be a combination of both. I'm not certain because no real details have been confirmed as of yet, but I'm still very excited for it. Although I do kind of wish they wouldn't nerf the command grabs, because I think command grabs should be very strong. I'm always a grappler at heart. Even though I play Jury now and I main Jury now, I've always been a grappler. And I like to see grapplers be as strong as possible, if I'm being completely frank. Which has me worried because of this next nerf. So at change number 3, Gray Life is going to recover much slower. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Gray Life is when you block certain attacks, instead of taking damage, you take block damage. And this is referred to as White Life or Gray Life. I call it Gray Life, and I'm going to keep calling it Gray Life. Now the thing is, Gray Life was a big deal against certain enemies, like Dalsim, because he could keep hitting you from far away, and you're taking all this block damage. But as long as you remained at full screen, or used a V reversal here and there, or maybe a super even, anything that took time away, you would give yourself more of a chance to recover that Gray Life. That was the whole point, right? But now Gray Life recovers so much slower that it's not even worth it. You don't want to take the block damage at all anymore, because it stacks up and pretty much doesn't go away at all. It's so slow now that the only way to get your health back, or at least your Gray Life, is to just keep being aggressive. So remember that old expression that the best defense is a good offense? That's going to be very literal in Street Fighter V. And while I do like the outcome of this change, I don't like the change itself. And I said it earlier, it's because I like grapplers. And a lot of grapplers like Birdie and Zangief rely on armor moves to either escape pressure or to get in and do damage. And when you use an armor move, you also take Gray Life, right? You take some block damage. And that sucks because like some of the best Zangief players would just take the risk. They would armor through moves and then get a command grab. Or they would armor through moves and then get the hit. They'd flex on them, then they'd do his like V-trigger and get a lot of damage. Now if they do that, they're going to get like 20% damage on themselves that's not going to come back. In fact, what's likely to happen is they're going to slip up, eat an actual hit, like a direct hit, and all that Gray Life's going to go away, and they're going to take all that damage. And that sucks. That's going to be a very rough life for characters that rely on armor moves. So that kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I don't like this change. I understand that the ends might justify the means, but I don't see it that way. I want grapplers to be strong. Hashtag make grapplers great again. I want to see it, damn it. Okay, but all jokes aside, here is the last change. It's a bit underwhelming, but it's still a pretty big change for a lot of people. And that change is that anti-air jabs are weaker now. In other words, standing light punch will no longer be a good anti-air. And the way they're nerfing this, theoretically, is they're nerfing the vertical hitbox, meaning it won't hit as high above the punch anymore. So if you're Alex and you throw out a jab, chances are it's not going to hit up as high anymore, so the anti-air is not going to work. It's going to miss completely, and the opponent's going to hit you, and you're going to eat full damage. Now, I don't like this change for certain characters, but I do understand the reasoning behind it. It's obviously meant to make characters' unique anti-airs more effective, right? They're trying to reinforce that each character has their own unique anti-airs. So for instance, Jury has a standing heavy punch and a back heavy kick. One is for further away and one is for directly above her. And Alex has a crouching heavy punch as well as a forward heavy punch. Those are his two anti-airs, right? And every single character in the roster has a different anti-air, right? They all vary from character to character. Our Mika's, for example, is crouching medium punch, right? So every character has a different anti-air. So if they're going to remove the jabs as an anti-air, I think they need to make the regular anti-airs for each character more effective. Because a lot of characters like Alex don't have very good anti-airs outside of that jab. That jab was one of his best weapons. Now as a Jury player, I'm not really affected at all by this change, so it's not a big deal to me, but other characters really relied on that jab as their anti-air, so I hope Capcom does make sure to buff their other anti-airs. I'm okay with this change, just please give them something else instead. If you're gonna take away my sword, then give me a fucking mace, alright? Don't just leave me without my sword. That's not fair, alright? Give me something to defend myself with, Capcom. That's all I'm saying. Alrighty dogs, I think that about covers the changes for Season 2 in Street Fighter V. I've seen some YouTubers make this last for 10 plus minutes. I don't think I'm gonna make it there, but I've said all I have to say and I'm not gonna make you sit here as I babble on or talk in circles or beat around the bush. That's all I got to say. There was no script. I just had my bullet points in front of me and I'm pretty sure I hit each one. If not, please post in the comments down below something that I missed and I'll be glad to clarify down there and maybe even join you dogs in a little friendly discussion. As always dogs, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and post a comment too. Tell me what you think. And if you like my content and want to support the channel, please stop on by my Patreon. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos, because we have content on this channel every single week. It's never a dull moment on Underdog Gaming, so make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.